Okay, so we are back. This is GeoWill from the Productions², and we're back to continue what we started last night, which was starting up a small kind of proof of concept slash thing that I can then slam into the economic proof of concept once it's that far along. But a supply demand simulator to kind of figure out some of the contours around the whole process of trying to make this a realistic system and having it actually do what we think it should be doing instead of being doing things it shouldn't be doing. And also kind of thinking about some of the other aspects, like for example, fabrication, how the fabrication of items by, say, an NPC corporation is going to impact the economy for the value of the materials used to make that product. That's all kind of encapsulated into this. So yesterday we started out and coded the basic foundations for this thing. We created the classes, set up the main file here. We coded up the all the various processes that I thought that we need initially, and also created a few static resources somewhere in here. I forget exactly where they are. It's in here, I think, isn't it? Oh, there it is, yeah. To use initially. Eventually what we'll do is we'll expand this out, but for now we're starting with iron, copper, llamas, steel, and aluminum. And so what we did was we went up to this point and got pretty much everything coded, and then stopped because it was getting pretty frigging late. And so what we're going to be doing now is I'm going to be coding in the output portion of the program, and then we're going to try and run it and see what happens, see what kind of fresh hell gets unleashed in terms of errors and bugs and God knows what. So first thing we need to do is we need to call these functions, these nifty functions we've created. But before we can do that, we have to create a reference to SDProc class. So SDProc, I think that's what we called it. Yeah, SDProc. So SDProc, we'll say SDMain equals SDProc, and I believe it's an empty constructor. Yes. So from there, we'll initialize the commodities, initialize craft list, and then what we'll do is, actually what I want to do is I want to make these private. We're going to call them from this constructor instead of from the main file, because it makes more sense that way. It's better, it's more proper, let's put that way. The only thing that we should have that goes out to anywhere is the get commodities function. Everything else beside the constructor should be private. That way nothing outside of this class can access it, and it's, follows proper encapsulation. Nothing really changes over here at all. It's just that all we have to do now is add those functions up here. So the first thing we have to do is we have to call... Well, I shouldn't say that. Let's see. Maybe not all of them. For sure, create commodities, that should be private for sure. Process SD and process commodities. Now, if we were going to have this in an actual program, we'd have some sort of intermediary between this class and the main class that would then process things for the entire game or our program every iteration through the while loop. Through the program loop. We don't have that because it's not that sophisticated of a program. So, in this case, I think we will just do these inside of the main. It's kind of sloppy. All right, but for sure, create commodities will be in here, and private being called privately only. All right. So now that we have that, all we have to do is call that. That sets up the stuff we need. It gives us the base values, and I don't think we need to actually do anything else, really. I think this should get us to a point where we can actually just do the first iteration and not have to worry about it. So we get the number of things we have. We call this, it does processing. We call this, it does the processing. Then we output what's there and the values and whatnot. So, here's how this will go. We have our loop here. So what we need to do is we need to have a menu here, just because we have to be able to quit it if we want to, or continue if we want to. So we need to be able to input something to tell it, hey, stop, you stupid program. Do not go into infinity and beyond. So, first we actually need to do the using statements. So count, using std sen, using std and l. Don't think we need anything else. Alright. I'm not going to do input checking or anything like that, because I'm just going to be using it, and I'm going to be smart enough to know that I shouldn't be putting in, some weird string or character or integer into when it's expecting a string. So if you're watching me code this and not doing the input checking on what the user's putting in, don't do it this way. You always want to check what your user's putting in so you don't accidentally blue screen the computer because they put in a asterisk or something, and the computer's like, your program's like, oh, it's an asterisk, I think I'll just die now and take their computer with me. I've had that happen before. Not often, but a couple times over 10 years. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go count. No, let's do this outside of the loop, because that way it's not going to show up every time. And actually it should be above that comment. Alright, count. Supply, demand, I did it again, damn it. Demand simulator, I can type correctly. It's another one of those days apparently. Version llama alpha or something, I don't know. And again, the session with llamas is from Fortnite. I recently started playing that. I have feelings about Fortnite. Good ones and bad ones. I think it's interesting at least insofar as the I guess the idea of it, crafting within a thing for that, but at the same time, it's not really executed too well, in my opinion. At least not for console. Computers, hell yeah. I mean, you can do all kinds of crazy mapping and crap on computers, but for consoles, it's not a console game, period. It's just, I have this thing with shooters and console controls, and it's just, it's insane. In my opinion, FPS games and third-person shooters and any kind of shooter really should be relegated to PC only, because it's just, you can't get accurate enough with a controller. Let's put it that way. That's why you have aim assist on consoles. But I will point out that Fortnite has aim assist on PC as well, which I find very interesting. So, yeah. So, I've played maybe about 6 or 7 hours, and that's the wrong direction. Of Fortnite so far. I'm at level 10 on my character. I also have the solo. I bought the solo mode. What's interesting about that is that the solo mode actually goes into a lot of stuff that you need to know to actually be able to play the game. it's kind of ridiculous that it's behind a paywall right now. So I just kind of jumped into the PvP, just kind of, you know, throw in there and get shredded kind of situation. Economic cycle, I think. Economic cycle. So P. Oh. Not there. And it's just, it's I don't know. Like I said, I have feelings about Fortnite. It's a weird game. You have people that play it like they're Rambo or something. I mean, you have that in all shooters, but I mean, in this one even more so. They play just so aggressively, it's insane. At the same time, though, that's not even what the point of it is. The point of it's to survive, not to get kills. In fact, I would go to say that if you're getting a bunch of kills, you're not playing it Fortnite correctly. That's just my unpopular opinion, I would assume. I would need to have something to store this in. String, actually it'd be a char. Char, input, I guess. So, the one thing I hate about Fortnite is that the weapons are way overpowered. Everything is overpowered in my opinion. When you can get shot, when you get killed in like just about 2 seconds with any weapon, even with full shield, where the weapons are overpowered. I think that buildings are underpowered. And what I mean by that is that, and here's the other thing I don't really, it's just really, can't get my head around it. So you have the ability to build forts, and actually, and you may not realize this when you're actually doing the building in the thing, but in the edit mode, you can actually do all kinds of weird stuff in terms of like actually building a structure that looks like a structure on just this tower. And the single player mode, there's actually mission objectives where you have to build structures to a certain specification by editing them and removing pieces of the wall or the floor or a certain direction of the stairs and how they're supposedly going up and whatnot. And it actually will, you know, like if you on the stairs, if you edit it and you make the movement arrow go all the way around to the other side, so like in a U shape, it'll make a 2-story kind of landing, then stairs, so like stair landing and stairs to like a second floor or something. And I mean, they don't tell you any of that in anything with the PvP when you start. However, here's the thing though. So you have this storm that's forcing you to get closer. Your goal is to survive. You get turned to Swiss cheese even by just somebody farting on you. I actually managed to kill somebody with the harvesting tool once. We're fighting over a chest, so I just bludgeoned them to death. One of the things they tell you to do is, well, to build stuff so you can protect yourself. Okay, you build a tower. Storm shrinks, you're in the storm, you get screwed because you're dead. It's just like, why waste the time building something to protect yourself or to hide out in or whatever when it's just going to get, you know, become unusable when the storm comes through? It's just really doesn't make much sense to me. It has a very team deathmatchy feel to it with it being actually more of a player unknown battlegrounds kind of game. Because it's forcing you into smaller and smaller areas, tighter areas where you're going to be forced to fight. I get that. I mean, that's kind of game progression. At the same time, though, while you're doing that, you know, somebody that's like me that's been hanging around, you know, hanging out, hiding in bushes and cowering in attics and crouch running around looking for stuff and dodging people, and come up behind you when you're not paying attention and shoot you in the face with a shotgun and take you out while you have all this awesome gear and have been like epically battling somebody for like the last 2 minutes. It's just kind of borderline ridiculous, really. So it's going to be either capital or lowercase. So we'll say capital. Rather, we need to go this way. Case lowercase p. So do this. We want to call the process. So it's going to be sd_main dot process process_sd, and then sd_main process commodities. All right. Break default. So everything else is going to be a cancel. B did quit equals true break. So it's a really strange game. I still haven't really gotten my head around it in terms of like the mechanics and how it's supposed to make sense. Because to me, it doesn't make sense. The way they have it set up doesn't make sense to me. Mainly because there's like competing ideologies. One is that you should build stuff to protect yourself. The other is that your buildings and things that you have become useless once a certain amount of time has passed, making you have to either kill people to get their resources or to harvest more resources, and thereby have to take time away from looking for weapons and such. Then you have the fact that there is a storm at all that's pushing you closer and closer and closer. You take damage while you're out in the storm. Not much damage, but enough that if you're far enough out, you can't reach the new safe zone. And then you have the fact that weapons will kill you no matter what you have. If you have full health, full shield, even a green shotgun will take you out. Even a green pistol can take you out, really. So it's just there. It seems like there's like this mishmash of ideas that's been thrown together to make this game, and it really hasn't been properly balanced and polished. Granted, it is beta. They claim it's beta. I say it's not beta. It's between beta and a release, in my opinion, because it's been out for so long, and there's so many people playing it. During an open beta, you don't have millions of people playing a game. You have maybe. I guess it depends on how popular it is. At the same time, though, you don't go out and advertise it. You have this new game, you want people to play it, because the point of a beta is to use a larger sample size than an alpha, but not an open-ended number of people that will come in and play it. Because when you do that, first of all, you get all kinds of bullshit. Pardon my French, from the people complaining about things like people hiding in bushes, like me, shotguns getting nerfed and stuff like that. The 50v50 being taken away, and you don't have enough much time to devote to finding and fixing bugs and balancing things, because you're trying to kind of play PR catch-up all the time. The other reason is because what they're finding out now is that they don't have enough server capacity for everybody, and it's causing all kinds of hell for all kinds of different things, especially during tournaments. So I just don't think. I think Epic's a little bit ahead of their skis on this. I will say though the story mode, the PvE mode, is a bit better. Not a whole lot better. I mean, there's still obvious issues with it in terms of like all the other things. Like in PvP, the stuff that's wrong in PvP is also kind of wrong or messed up in the PvE. It's just that it's not so insane because the enemies don't have these weapons they're using at you. They're zombies, basically. Fortnite's basically a zombie apocalypse game with a PvP multiplayer thing on it. That's all. That's all it really is. There's nothing that special. Story-wise, on the campaign side, the thing that makes it special, I guess, is the building. Even though we've had games with crafting like Rust and things like that. I guess it's because it's a shooter battle royale kind of game that has crafting in it or something. I just don't feel they fit well together. So we got this done now. Let's see. So we got this, processing that. We're doing this. So once this is done, we need to call a function. Let's go ahead and make a prototype up here. Void print details. And we're going to pass through a vector of commodities to this. Comms. Okay, so then we're going to define that down here. Void print details, vector of commodity, comms, wrong curly brace. Alright, so what we're going to do here now is we're going to do the whole printing out of stuff. Instead of putting it in here and getting this all crazy and large in here or somewhere else, we're going to put it over here. So what we want to do is a for each loop. So for each commodity, so commodity com and comms. And what we want to print out is basically, let's see, what if I wanted to do the change in value? And that's an interesting idea. Well, let's put that on hold though. I'll make a, let's see, idea, change in value over last cycle or more than one cycle. There's gonna be like menu options we can choose from, but put that on ice for now. So basically, want to have count commodity status. Come on. Name. So com.get name. That's what happened. That's what I was there. I was trying to put L in and hit the apostrophe. Count. Amount. I guess. Yeah, I think it's amount. So basically, the amount of the number of this commodity that's in the supply, that's in supply for use. Yeah, get supply. Supply amount, we'll call it. Actually, we should probably do a get demand too. Then think about it. Get supply. And then value. I believe that's the toString that'll work. Com must have a class type. Is it to_string? Maybe it's toString. What the hell is the toString? No clue anymore. Too much VB. So plus C++ toString. To_string. Oh, toString with whatever you want to have made into a string in the parameter. Okay, gotcha. So it would be to_string. Oh, and we'll need to add that probably up here, I think. Yeah. Using std toString. All right. And actually, we need to do this with these other ones too. Technically, we probably don't need to do this because it might do it automatically, but for the sake of being accurate, I'm going to put it in here. Since these technically are not strings, and we're printing out strings, it's what this is actually doing, is printing out text. Like I said, I think it does it automatically, implicitly, count does, but I've gotten into the habit of explicitly turning things to string if they're going to be put out as a string, because you have to do that in for VB to ASPX or ASP. Otherwise, you get complained at like you wouldn't believe. Alright, so for every one of these, we have this, and then we're going to do a system print. And the people that say the system is dangerous, bite me. Because I don't think it is. System pause, not print. I think I said print. And there shouldn't be a dot there. And it's just, why not use system? I mean, it makes too much sense to not use it or something. So you can do all kinds of awesome. I think we need to include. Do we have to include Windows.h? I guess we have to include Windows.h. I didn't think we had to. Then again, I haven't coded in C++ for a while, so. H. .h. If you want to quote Stewie. System pause. Yeah, there we go. So that'll give us the thing where it'll say push a key to continue. So we'll be able to actually see the stuff as it's happening. Alright, so now, if nothing explodes, this should work, at least in theory. It should at least give us something, some values somewhere. It may not be correct values, but it'll be something. It could also just explode in a giant mess, which is kind of what I'm expecting it to do. We'll go ahead and take a look and see what happens. Alright, we got some things here. Let's see. Cannot convert const commodity to commodity reference. So line 13 of commodity CPP. Or not commodity, SD proc CPP. So line 13. Line 13, where are you? Here. So for each commodity, com in commodities. Cannot convert const commodity to commodity that, because it has to be over here. It should give the same error. It should matter where it's at. I could be wrong though. Okay, let's see. Where was that? Where did I use that at? On the proof of concepts. So, that would be the universe. I think universe. Well, either universe or PL system. Oops, not that one. The CPP. So, going through, we're doing stuff. Okay, it's not must be universe. Either that or it's not this one. Yeah, here we go. So I have view systems, which is a vector of planetary system. We have planetary system. Oh, it's a 4, not for each. Derp. Derp, 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 derp. That's interesting. I forgot we have this notation too. That's what I should have been using actually. Not 4n. Alright, that should work. Actually, I think I might just... Oh, is there... Yeah, here, this one. Yeah, there's another place I was using it. I'll just change it in these ones, and then we'll work on changing it to the other ones later. So we're using it like that. Alright, there we go. Now, let's see what other issues we got. Let's see, syntax, create pointer member. Line 14. So, that's 13, line 14. So... Because it's a pointer, we have to use pointer, or not there, com.getName. Since you're creating pointers out of them, no? Non-standard syntax, use and to create a pointer member. On line 14, which is this. and com. Dot, oh. Jesus. We're missing some parentheses. Alright, we got some other issues. Already defined in rand. Get frand, get irand, already defined in random object. And that's in... I'm not defining them, I'm calling them. That's nice. Our gen here is, that's already defined to one or more defined symbols multiple times. Okay. Always, well, not always, I've had issues with this sometimes where it's just the compiler doesn't, linker doesn't want to play correctly. Let's see, so we have rand and we have stproc_h. Do I have something defined twice? Vector, map, commodity, just a string. Range, random has range and includes random. The standard library random. Let's see, this and this. That's fine, I think. So somewhere in here it's saying that we're creating a definition for get float rand and get int rand. As well as, oh, I think we have to do fndef here, I believe. Well, do we? Maybe we have to define them statically? Blah. And this isn't really going to be useful because this isn't the one that we need. What we need is version 6, 0.6. No, that's not going to have 0.6. Alright, so there's our range. Where's our random at? Okay, so random is not a CPP file. It is a header file. And okay, so yeah, we do need to be a header then. Never mind. At least that's how I have it defined here. Let's put it that way. So the easy route's just to make this a header file instead of a non-header file. So fndef rand define. Probably could do the same thing in the implementation file. Let's try to do it this way. If we have to do it this way. Alright, now what else do we need for that? So we just do that. It's basically a static definition of some functions that we're going to call. Alright, we do need to change this to h though. Alright. No, we still have some problems. Okay, oh, do we have to say, no, we don't have to say rand. Because it's not a class. Damn it. Find go. Okay, I told you to search. So we're just passing in, so include random.h. We don't have any kind of defines or references or anything, we're just calling it as it is. So why is the linker giving me crap? It's got to be maybe some sort of circular reference somewhere. So stproc_h. Vector map commodity. Commodities got string. SDproc rand.h. Equals get frand, get irand, get irand. Rand of us already defined in rand.object. Again, it's like it's trying to. Wow. I used to be good at this kind of crap. So standard distribution gen random including range. Let's drop the range. I don't think that'll do anything, but yeah, no, it didn't. So already defined in rand objects. One or more multiply defined symbols found. Vector map commodity. Vector map pair. The only place for defining it or including it is here. And yet the linker thinks it's being redefined in here. One or more multiply defined symbols found. Linker one or I guess it didn't click on it. Okay, put definition body in a CPP file and leave only the declaration in H file. Include guards operate only within one translation unit. Cross program, run the standard. What the hell? So put the body definition into and leave the definitions in H file. So in other words, keep it as not a class and have these defined here. These defined here. These being this stuff. So, and then have everything else defined in a implementation file. It's crazy enough to work. I don't know. We'll see. And then we also need to then include rand.h. Okay. Let's take those out. Oh, what do you know? Okay, so, we'll go ahead and say P. Yay, nothing happened because we didn't call the printing function, damn it. Just realized. And call print. It didn't crash though, which is good. At least on the first round. Alright, let's give this another whack. Oh yeah, we have to pass through SD main dot get commodities. Alright. Process. Yay, it still did nothing. Cool. As in not cool. Create commodities. Come down here to create commodities. So let's put a breakpoint here and see what the hell's going on. So what is up with you commodities? You have one size. What is inside of you? Iron value, bunch of zeros, and supply 17 it looks like. Okay, so that's and so the supply and demand's the same. Very interesting. Okay, so let's continue. Size 2, 22, and 11. Okay, good, so it's not the same. Good. Alright, so let's also, well, let's see. We're going to make steel, too. We need to do what we did up there and make it so it doesn't create things that are in the craft list automatically. So we're going to go through this a couple times. Actually, let me go throw before we get out of that loop, I want to throw something down here so we can see what's in comms, because I think somehow it's not returning correctly. Continue. Size 5. So we have all 5 things. Okay. It is not even getting down there. Oh, wait, we got that P. There we go. So here we are. Comms is size 0. Of course, that's what it is. SD main, pocket commodities, SP, return. Oh. See, this is what happens when you don't triple check things. Return. You were returning an empty vector because we were telling it to. Alright. Now. We should get something to happen. Yay, what do we got? What the hell's wrong now? Unresolved, what this will call SD proc traits. What the hell? What did I do? The hell did I do? Unresolved external symbol int cdecl int get IRAND int yada 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 blah 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 blah. So now somehow I've broken. Let's do a clean. Let's do a clean and rebuild it. That is interesting. So I changed this, and somehow I break the entire frigging program. So it was working before. Let me see, did I change anything? Oh. Somehow I ended up typing a P up there. That's what happened. No clue how that happened, but it did. Ah, come on. Trying to type around a microphone, it's annoying as all hell. Alright. Surprised it didn't, no, there it is again. Surprised it didn't say that round HP didn't exist or something. Okay, I take that back. So that didn't fix it. This is very interesting. I've had many epic battles with the linker before. This is turning out to be one of them. So, reference function bool check parts. Is that saying check parts doesn't exist? Check parts is here. Okay, now so it's this inside of here. It's saying that the get IRAND that's being called from check parts is unresolved because apparently it thinks it is, I guess. Get IRAND. Get IRND. Get IRND 1 to 10. Returning it to an int, so that's right. check parts is part of. Yeah, it's a private, but it's part of it. So it is the rand being added should be there. Maybe we need to move the rand h include to the header file. Nope, that didn't fix it either. And there's also a float that's in create commodities. It's also saying it's unresolved now. So yeah, we managed to break things thoroughly. Rand.h, rand.cpp, get irnd, get frnd, two parameters, low and high, turns to float, one turns to int. We have our things defined here. So the only thing we changed was we made this actually return a vector, the commodities vector. Return vector of okay, yeah, that doesn't work anymore either now. So what did I do? Okay, let's do this. Let's undo everything I changed. Wrong file. Let's undo everything that I changed between when it was working and when it wasn't working. So there's rand, there's return. So I had include rand cpp. Maybe that's it. Maybe it was rand cpp. Which is weird. You'd think it should be H. Oh, yeah, okay. No, that's it. Or no, it's not. Well, is it or is it not? So we had that. We had this, and then. Okay, now it's working. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. To add the CPP, not the H. Very well. Whatever, Visual Studio. If you want to play it weird like that, we'll do it that way. That time IntelliSense was being a pain in the arse. Alright, so now here we go. Okay, iron. So value is 2.4. We were going to round up. We have 16 demand and 17 supply. Yes. Yes, the other thing I forgot to do, count and L. And then at the end of this, we'll want to do a system CLS to clear the screen. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Yeah, 42 llamas. So we're just gonna look at iron for now. So we got 1910 and 2.57. Like a 2.58, I guess we'll round it up. So process. Why does that look the same? 1910, 2.57, that is the same. And it's still the same. Alright, well, we got values. We have values, but nothing is changing. So process SD, process commodities, then we call the print. So what's going on then is that seems that our process commodities is not running. For each commodity in craft subtract. So it's either this, or it's both. I'm actually banking on it being both. So let's go ahead and throw, well, it could be this too. You know what? I'm wondering if it is that. Num items. Because that's a 0, and that would make sense if it's taking 0 out of it because of whatever reason. So where's that function at? Here we go. So num items. Maybe this is supposed to be a reference. Maybe it's supposed to be an and. There's a program in one of my C++ books from Game Institute that had this dice program that used that, and I always trying to remember how it's supposed to go. So I always keep getting it backwards sometimes. So pass value back as pointer. So new int and okay, so reference new int pointer. Okay, pass a reference to pointer. So okay. Pointer by value instead of creating a pointer by reference. Different than that. So when we pass it as change a reference is now 10. So we pass it through as regular reference. Okay, so maybe we don't even have to do a. So maybe we change this to a reference instead of a pointer. And we don't even pass this through as a reference, just pass it through as, or a pointer, well, as a reference for a pointer, but just pass it through as that. So we'll need to fix the thing over here. Whoops. Alright. If that doesn't work, it still doesn't work, I'll have to pull out my, okay, so iron, 42, 14, and 3.8, we'll call it. So, boom. Let's see. Nope, still the same. All right. Let's see. Where is that thing at? Petzol's not going to help us in this because it's not in there either. Let's see. It better not be in this thing. Alright. I think it is. Is there an index? No, there isn't. That would be asking for too much. Let's have a look. So, basic, normal, newbie crap, logic conditional loops and arrays, functions, there we go. So, that's not there, it's in pointers. So, dice function, there it is. Page 134. Okay, so, dice function. Alright, so memory, turning multiple return values with references. Here we go. So you pass them through as a reference. Okay, so get mouse pass. Okay, so they're just references, and then you just give them values. Okay. All that for that. Okay, so actually, that is kind of what we're doing here. So that is kind of what we're doing here. So maybe this is num of items equals n items. Okay, maybe something in this loop isn't running correctly. Just, get out of here. It's entirely possible. So let's throw a breakpoint there. That is inside the while loop, so it's not a definition issue. Break here. Actually, I want to put it inside of that. Alright, go. P. Alright, so here we are. Actually put it on the next one down so we can see what the value of it is. So value is 9. Okay. Item second. What is the... So steel is what we're on then. Okay. So that's kind of interesting. Sort of. So, hit here. We didn't hit here. We did not hit here. And it didn't land here. For each while. Let's try that again. Alright, so we're going through. Okay, it's hitting down here to true. Well, that's interesting. For each pair int part in parts. Okay, steel, because steel is 2 parts. So, second is a vector, so we're allocating it to parts. So what is parts dot size? Oh, because we need to do it while we're in here. . 10u. Okay. Continue. So 2. So continue. Okay. So we're in there. So let's see what com.getName. Iron, which is good. And then we want part name, which is iron. Okay. Then we want to see what the supply is. com.getSupply is 19, and the parts num times n items is 20. Okay, so we don't have enough. So it should come down here and hit, make this be broken. Okay, yes, and then we break out of that loop. Then we hit that break, and then my mistake. Had a little bit of a logical error there. I think that might be what was going on in part. Anyway. So what was happening is that the loop was being broken, but then this was seeing if it was false. On the converse side, if it didn't break, this was seeing this as false because it was false, and it was breaking it anyway. Now, that, well, let's see. No, that is how it's supposed to go, isn't it? Never mind. Never mind, that was an illogical error. That was a illogical error. In other words, it was correct. So if we break it, we break it. If, let's turn true. So if inner loop is not broken, be fab. Otherwise, okay, yeah. So if the number of items we're creating is 1, then return false, because then we're not going to be able to create anything. That's right. Now I remember why you put that there. So continue. Iron 20, continue. Refresh. So we definitely have enough this time. Okay. So next we are on to llamas, which isn't there. Now if it does match, this is a little bit of an optimization thing. We want to break it anyway, because if it matches, then we want to well, then what we could do is to actually lessen the well, let's see. So if it is less than break true, yeah, we can do it that way. So so we can reduce this to a one-line if statement. And now if it is less, we'll still be saying the inner loop broke to true, because it will need to be true, because we don't have the parts, enough components to make it the thing. But if it's not true, it'll remain false and will break anyway, because in either case, it's going to break. It's either going to match it or it's not, if the name matches. That's the key here. If the part name matches the commodity we're on, then either it's going to be enough or not enough, and we want to stop processing at that point because we don't need to go any further for that particular iteration of the outer loop, which is looking at the actual parts that make up the parts list, or the components list of the thing we're trying to fabricate. So that should work there. Now question is, let's continue. Yeah, good. It was able to, nope, never mind. wasn't able to, someone would be able to continue after that, but guess not. Alright, so continue. So inner loop broke, and apparently we're at 1. Okay. Process. One thing we're not doing now is we're not looking at the value up here. Actually, it should be the one above it. Yeah. Continue. Continue. What is N items? That would be nice to know. So 7. Wow. Okay, so we do have enough. Iron. Okay, so now we're on to aluminum. Okay. So we have 25 and we have enough, so that's good. Or, no, we're on copper. Never mind. Steel. I think aluminum is last. Yeah. We have 39, so we still have enough. Oh, wait. So, part num. One aluminum and 2 steel. That's right. So that is correct. Okay, so since all that is true, it returns true. And then we get to find out what the value of num items is. 7. Good. So now if we look at our commodities, so I know let's get to the last commodity. So we just need to say commodities dot at 4. Dot get value. Well, we'll do get supply. And function has no address due to compiler optimization. Interesting. So we can't. That sucks. Okay. Well, we know it was 39, so it should be 7 less. So it should be 32 for aluminum. And it's not. So something's not updating. Very well. Let's put a breakpoint here. So we know this is working. It has to be that portion because it's not removing it, but we're not adding it either up here, which is also very interesting. So add a breakpoint there, add one here. So for if it's that, else if get name craft item first. Now to me, we need to reverse this. Because we want to make sure we're doing the crafted items first. That way, if we end up running into them, they're not going to get changed by this incorrectly. Because the crafted item is still part of the commodities list. So that should do it that way. We will need to fix that. So the goal is now to see what we're updating these as, or if it's even getting into there at all. So let's go and run this. P. Okay. So, num items. What commodity are we on? We're on iron, so it'll be in this. What is this? Not currently associated with the slimes. Very interesting. Alright, so. Commodities. This might not work that will it? 0 dot get identifier commodities is undefined commodities, and yeah, because that BS there's an option we have to change to make that work properly. Let's go ahead and do that because I need to know what that value is. Solution properties. Nope, not there. So it's underneath. Is it general or is it? It might be general. See. Not having to go digging for the stupid thing. Watch list broken by optimization. Watch list function no address due to optimization or something like that. Should be close enough. There we go. Save optimization OD. It really shouldn't be enabled because it's it's underneath. Okay, optimization. Why didn't I think of that? Optimization, different options. Disabled. Was that on debug or was it on? It was on all configs. Okay, good. All right, let's see if it still complains. No. Function has no address as possible due to compiler optimizations. That is an interesting error. I've never seen it before. Oh, Unreal. Interesting. Is this like something new age crap that they're doing, Microsoft's doing with 2017 that I never run into before? Debug false new chain config. That's not what I want. That's a debug build. Shouldn't have it enabled in the first place. What the hell? Microsoft, what the hell are you doing? Alright, so I'm literally just gonna turn every freaking thing off. And if it still does it, I am going to cuss out Microsoft. Wow. Way to go, Microsoft. I have no clue what the hell you did to this thing, but I can't use functions and watch expressions anymore. At least not that one for some reason. Alright, fine, whatever. So this is before we're going into this. I'll put one on the after here. So supply. So what's the supply? The supply is 34. And it should take off 4. So it should be 30 once it gets to the next line. Okay, it is 30. Now what I'm thinking is happening is once we exit that scope, we'll have to do this the hard way. No, commodities. There we go. Come on. Commodities. It's a bloody frickin' member of your class. Why are you not identified? Unless I'm typoing it. Commodities. I'm pretty sure I'm not. Oh, nope, I'm not. What in the bloody blue hell is going on with this? Alright, let's put one down here then. What the hell? Commodities.size unable to read memory. Save value because why? Some really odd crap happening here. It's just weird. Unable to read memory. It's like it's deallocating or getting lost somehow. So I think we need that there. Since this needs to be a 4 and not this kind of a situation. Continue, cancel, stop, go, process. No, yeah, it's just like, wow. It's like, dude, what do you want from me? I don't know this thing anymore, even though it's a member of myself. I have amnesia. Oh, wow. Okay, so create commodities. I've never seen this happen before. It's probably a good reason for it. I'm probably fracking up somewhere. So commodity, new commodities. Continue, stop. What the hell? Alright, continue. Commodities, okay, that's good. Process. And it's passing through values. It's passing them through. Oh, let's see, 1018. I think, did it just change? I wasn't paying attention to the actual values. No, it didn't. Damn it. This is annoying. What the hell is going on? Okay. So for one, for whatever reason, this isn't showing us what it's supposed to be. Maybe it's because it's on one line and it can't access it correctly that way or something. I don't know. Hindenburg, that's fine. Just creating it, that's fine. Common, we're adding them, that's fine. Okay, that must have been what the problem was. So, iron, com value 4.3 and 3.39, and supply 16. Continue. Okay, do another round through. And it'll be the same. Yeah. So for whatever reason, these aren't doing jack. I know this should work because maybe we need to do something. Oh well. These aren't even closing properly. Awesome. No, it should work for doing it. I'm using it over in this other one, and it's working there. The proof of concept, universe hierarchy proof of concept. Yeah, this one. So if we go to, I'm pretty sure it's the universe. Yeah, so planetary systems and PLS U systems create planets, and it's reflecting that element back into the U systems vector. Wait, it's because, how do we have it defined here again? So we have it that way. Well, we have it there on this one too, and that doesn't seem to be doing jack either. Then we don't need it there for, and just over stop. So 2017 305. Did I say 2017 305? 829 305. I don't know what I was looking at. Must not have been the right ones. 23. So that's always, it's still, yeah, always the same. So these aren't updating. That is awesome. So let's have a look over here and see what's going on. Okay, clear all that out, and then I just want to see what the new val is. New val is 4. Com supply is 28. And what's the op? Op is sub. Okay, so what we should get is this. So we should get 24. I'm not going crazy or anything, am I? This is literally here, so we're not even there yet. So the supply is 24. New val is 4. And when we do a minus equals, it's still 24. So are my awesome these things not working anymore? What the hell's with that? Plus C++ 20, let's see, minus equals not working. Huh. I mean, it should work. It's just like it's like a basic thing that's been in C++ for forever. Is these kind of things. That is very interesting. That is not what it's supposed to be. Though I'm not... Oh, what the hell? So now when I double click on it, it's 24, or 20, which is right, but it's 24 and I'm looking at it. What the hell is going... Something is seriously wrong with Visual Studio 2017. At least my installation of it. Because this is wrong. But if I go over to double click on it, it shows the right value. I have no clue. Oh, I know why. Minus equals. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Apparently, it can't do the minus equals, I guess. That's probably why. Because it's trying to set... It's like attempting to set the value from the watch list or something. So it is working. It's just I didn't put it in there correctly. So that's what it should be. So when we go down to the next line... Okay, well, we need to put one at the last bracket. So added however many it was, 2, and got 21 from 19. That's correct. So these are getting updated. However, they're not being reflected back into the vector for some reason. Which I find very interesting. Okay. So minus 2, add... So new vowels, minus 5, up is add 28. Yeah, this should be changing to 23. It isn't. Oh. Wow. Really? Seriously? It's gonna come down to some freaking case issues or something? Good freaking God. At least on that part, not this part. This part is correct, but I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, we don't have div either. That's the, or do we have it? I did put it in, never mind. For, the value of it. Okay. Get rid of all, get out of there. Get rid of these. So what happens when you do programming as a career and also in your free time, your brain gets fried. So 3718 4.5. Hey, it changed. Okay. So, let's see if this is actually working the way we want it to. So, let's clear this stuff. Yeah, we can use this. Alright, so we have supply is 25, demand is 31, and our value is 4.5. 4.49. We'll leave it that way so we can figure out if it changes that much. Alright. Okay. So the value's not changing, but this stuff is. So now let's see, what should the value actually be? Are we even, maybe we're not even doing that part. Update com values, we're not calling that, that's why. Won't do it if you're not calling it. Alright, yay, now what? Oh, that's private. Process commodities. Oh, okay. We should have it in the process commodities function. Call it at the end. Update com values. Okay, now we can see if we've got things that are working correctly. Okay, so start. No, division by 0. Damn you. Integer division by 0 because this is an int. Or rather, float this way. Need to turn it into a float so we don't get that BS division by 0. It's still gonna say that because we need to rebuild it or something. Alright, there we go. Alright, so now we're not getting division by 0, which is always good. No, no, no. Stop hiding everything behind that damn window. Alright, there we go. So for iron, we got 19, we got 17, and we got 3.2 whatever, 3.20. 3.2. So that's on the first iteration. So, okay. The value did not change. So why did the value not change? Let's throw a breakpoint here. Alright, so val multi. So let's clear this, and so com.getSupply. So supply is 1, and what is the demand? Obviously going to be higher, 27. Oh, okay, so it's this kind of situation again. So, I mean, we're talking about, this should be like just insane. Now what's final multi? 0.029, blah, 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 blah. So now we call the division operation. So continue. Interesting. Commented value div. Oh, let's update demand, supply, value. There we go. Oh. I see. I had it in the wrong damn place. Okay, that helps. Actually, I'll stop it and start it again. Alright, now we should have something happen that's not what was happening. Get rid of that. Okay. Alright, so round 1 we have 22, we have 17, and we have 1.74. Alright. So now we're going to the next cycle. Hey, we got a change on everything. Good. So, supply on round 2 is 7. The demand is now a crazy 23, and our value is up to 5 points. So it's like a 500% increase or something. So, let's see. So our demand, so we have to go supply divided by demand. And then that divided by the original price, which is 1.74. Yes and no. Okay, so first of all, you have to consider that we're also throwing it through this thing up here. Alright, so can I see the okay, yeah, it's all there. Good. Alright, so first thing we do is we go supply divided by demand, which is what we did here. We got 0.30. And then we take that 0.30 and we throw it through this thing up here. So the float int, which is still a float, so 0.03 or 0.3 times 100 divided by 100, which I guess is the same thing. I don't know. So it turns it to an int, then a float afterwards. Then we take that, and then it's that divided equals the value. So 1.74 divided by 0.3, 5.8. That's not exact because there's other things in there, but it's close enough. So yeah, cool. So that's like literally like a 300% increase in value or something because of how the demand has changed. Okay, so things are there. Kind of looks like it's working. Yay, we have a negative value on steel because there's no demand. Awesome. How does one have a negative 0? That's interesting. We have negative 0. We have broken math for this thing. Okay, so let's go to our next round. So the price is even higher now. Yeah, see, here's what I was worried about. Is we have, now that we're using the sliding value, and it's just the value on top of the value, so instead of being based on the base value, now we're saying this demand, which is not really much different than, well, it's actually a little more lopsided. It is a little bit more lopsided than the second run, but not so much so that it should go up by, 3 times what it was before, again. Well, maybe that is what we want. So, do we want the demand to compound turn over turn, process over process, cycle over cycle? Or do we want it to be based on specifically the original value of it per cycle? So in other words, why this is 17 is because it's taking the previous cycle's value of 15 and saying, okay, based on that, divided by the current multiplier from the supply-demand imbalance, it's now going to be 17 whatevers per unit of iron, instead of being based off of the original initial one that was created, the 1.47. Now, it just depends, I guess, on how you want to look at it. Because what happens now is that, it looks like iron's always going to be in high demand, so the value of iron's going to skyrocket. I mean, and that's fine, because that's how it's supposed to work in an economy where you have supply and demand. Oh wow, look at that, infinite. That's not good. That means we overflowed the size of the int, of the regular int. So you do have issues where you get into these kinds of problems, and now it's always going to be infinite no matter what, because it'll always be infinite now. So I think we need to have a base value that we're basing it off of. It means that the prices won't go up crazily unless it's like a really huge imbalance, but at the same time we're not going to get those infinite values. So we need to go back to commodity H, and we have our supply demand, and we have our value. Float. That's right, values of float. So we overflowed the float. Com base val. So this C val is not going to be a CB val, but what we'll do is we'll set it as the CB val, and then com base val. Okay, and now instead of the using the current value to do the math over there, we're going to use the base value. So we're just going to say get B val. And then we'll just copy what we have over here for that. Instead of, since it's just changing a few things, we can just copy the existing one instead of using the base value. Let's actually go ahead and spell it out fully. Okay. So then over here, where we have it pulling in the value for this calculation, rather over in here, rather than using this in the calculation, okay, no, yeah, can't do it that way anymore. So it has to be equals com base. All right, and just for that one, because of how it's being, because of division, we're multiplying it up and whatnot. All right, so now if we run this again, we shouldn't hit any infinite values, I don't think. Alright, so there's our initial starting point, 1.74. So it goes up to 8, 10, 54. So it is still kind of creeping up, isn't it? And then it goes down. Wow, that's kind of an interesting drop there. Oh wow, we have -1 supply. What the hell? Gotta fix that. Let's go ahead and stop this. Well, actually, we can just hit Q. There we go. Let's restart it. I want to kind of try and... Oh. We had it open again. I want to kind of keep track of this again. So P, so our initial is 23, 18, and 3.10. Alright. So then our next one is 5, 33, and 15.53. So this is our base value. Let's bring out the old trusty calculator. So 5 divided by 33 is 0.15, times 100 divided by 100. It's still 0.15. So 0.152. So then that's going to be 3.10 divided by 0.152, which is, again, it's not 152, it's 151515, blah, 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 blah. So it's not exactly, but that does seem off though, doesn't it? I mean, but again, we don't have the exact values. It isn't 3.10, it's 3.10 something. So it's not exact science what we're doing here. Just trying to see if it ballparks or not. Now if we go 3.10 divided by 0. That's still like 20. That's interesting. 5 divided by 33. Huh. Very interesting. Alright, let's go to the next round and see what happens. Alright, so now we have 8 and 35. And that becomes 54.36. This is kind of where it was headed last time, then it had this huge correction to it, without the supply and demand changing that much. So 8 divided by 35, which is 0.23. And then we have 3.10 divided by 0.23. Yeah, so it should be closer to 13 or so, not 54. So what if we go, just out of curiosity, what did we say it was? 2, 3. Now that's closer. I'm wondering if it's still not using the right value somewhere for some reason. So on this, we are setting the value of setting com value equals com base value equals new value. Now we're not changing com base value, we're just changing the com value based on various things. So why is it still doing that? So supply and demand, we're not using that. Over here we're calling get com value, get val, com to get value. Well, whatever, I'll figure that out later. But you can kind of see it's working now. So obviously we need to do some fixing up and polishing around, making sure we don't get negative values. A little bit more debugging to figure out why some of these values aren't jiving correctly. Obviously the rounding thing isn't working, so we need to figure that out too. It'd be nice to get things rounded so that it's easier to deal with. So I have to sit here and type in 10 digits, 10 decimal places worth of numbers to try and get the actual values that are coming out of it. But yeah, so this is getting there. What I'll do then is, so on the next stream that I do for this, which might be a little bit of time, it won't be like tomorrow, the next, maybe next week, I'll have gone through, fleshed some more of this out, gotten some more stuff in, adding in a bunch more things, and cleaning up a few areas so that, for example, we're not adding anything that's in the craft list, so only adding in like the base commodities to that. Adding in some more stuff here, and seeing if we can get this a little more accurate. But thanks for tuning in if you watched it live. If you're watching this on YouTube afterwards, comments, questions, or any kind of flaming of my unpopular opinions of Fortnite, put them below. And appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time.